Single Simulcast is about a lot of things. This podcast may make you laugh, cry, or pound your fists into your desk. If you hear something you like or something you don't, leave a voicemail at 916-572-9016 or email us at singlesimulcast@gmail.com.
1. Single Simulcast.
What up, Young?
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Fallon, Matt, Fallon.
Hello.
Hi.
Matt, Shantae, Matt.
Of course. Lovely
I know.
speaking to you again.
I know. I love you. I love your joke. I love your joke of the day.
Yeah, tell me one.
Thank you. Oh, God. See, I can't. When somebody requests it, that's like the ultimate way for me to not tell a joke.
I understand. It's like peeing on command. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how I found that out. Just trust me.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah, suppressing like 9 or 10 R. Kelly jokes right now. Difficult.
We don't want to go down that road.
Difficult. Still suppressing jokes. That didn't help out a thing. Wow. So, Single Simulcast 301. We are over the hump, ladies and gentlemen. As always, the wonderful, the illustrious Shantae's in the building. We're also joined by two guests, one that you've heard on the show before, and one whose questions you've heard on the show, but has never been on the show before, as far as I can tell. So we are going to begin, as always, with ladies first. We're joined by Miss Fallon Kitty, the writer supreme, the shade master, the PhD. You are finishing up your PhD, correct?
No, I just got into a PhD and I'm finishing the master's.
She's smarter than me by like a million. I don't even know what questions to ask because the answers I get, I have to look up, and that's fucked up for me. That's more work. So I don't even ask questions. I just sit back and listen a lot. And
no, Ricky's smarter than I am.
I don't ask him questions either. Ain't nothing changed. And I think that y'all are tied. If not you a little bit further ahead, because I don't know if you know this, but Ricky, he wears really dumb shoes.
Wow.
That's literally how I know that Fallon is smarter than Ricky, because Ricky wears dumb shoes.
There you go.
Yep. I don't know. I just made that up. What I do know, though, is that Fallon is an amazing writer, and from what I heard, you are being looked at for a new writing venture that you started.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I wrote my first novella called The Professor, and it was not autobiographical, but it was inspired by a professor I actually knew and had a bit of a crush on. So yeah, I wrote that, and I just found that as I kept revisiting that whole theme, that I just found myself writing, I guess, more passionately than like other stuff. And so a couple of presses have contacted me about stories I submitted, which kind of followed that kind of same character. And so two of them got back to me, and they should be published in the fall and in Halloween.
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
I am down to hear about any professor that's not Dumbledore. Like,
no love for Albus.
Yeah, I can't. Like, the more I read Harry Potter, the more I'm like Snape and Dumbledore both can get the Bozak. Now you have written how many books at this point in time? Not ghostwritten, just your books.
My books, maybe like 10 or 12. Yeah, 10 or 12 like novels, and then I submitted to a couple of anthologies, and I also just have personal essays published, and that's pretty much all I do. But I ghostwrite. Like, ghostwriting is where I make most of my money as a writer. And I've ghostwritten way more than I've, like, published under my own name.
I have a question. Ghostwriting. Like, if you ghostwrite for somebody and it becomes a bestseller, you get, like, no credit, right?
Yeah, like, prior to it, well, I mean, it depends on what kind of relationship you have. Like, sometimes people will ghostwrite, and if they ghostwrite consecutively or whatever for the same client, then the client will be like, well, for the next novel I do, I'll feature you as, like, a co-author or something, and you'll get exposure. Like, I guess it's just preference for each case, but most of the time you don't get credit. Like, they just give you a flat fee, and, like, you sign away your, like, rights to the content. And it's kind of like an open secret, like, in the writing industry. Like, so whenever you see, like, a lot of those rankings and stuff, like, it's no secret that many best-selling authors or USA Today best-selling authors employ ghostwriters. And whether or not they actually put the whole manuscript that the ghostwriter has written or just bits and pieces of it is completely up to them. But, like, a lot of people kind of know that, or a lot of people, I guess, in the industry kind of know that, like, ghostwriting or employing ghostwriters is, like, kind of common practice. So I'm always, like, really surprised when someone is called out for plagiarism, because, like, plagiarism's obviously wrong, but it's, like, at the same time, ghostwriting is, like, normalized.
So, in your travels as a ghostwriter, would you work with Drake?
Wow.
Maybe under a pseudonym.
Oh man, where can we find your books at?
Mostly just on Amazon, and links and stuff are all on my website, FallonKitty.com, and on my Goodreads.
Okay. And y'all heard him on the show before. Mr. Joke a Day himself, and I actually look forward to hearing the jokes, because most times they're so just gut punch funny.
Oh, thank you.
That it, like, makes you, it stops you. Like, I tell jokes that are literally made for 10-year-olds. I know my age range for my jokes. Like, I tell jokes that my 10-year-olds wait for a second, and then he says, oh, I get it, and then he starts laughing uproariously. My biggest slayer recently was telling him about IP Freely. That was my biggest joke recently.
That's a good one.
Yes, also my paycheck. And so to hear your jokes, like to sit there for a second and then I just fall apart. It's magic. There's nothing quite like comedy to just lift the spirits and soften the bowels. Young Shipway, tell them something about yourself, man. The floor is yours.
Well, I mean, geez, nothing as impressive as Fallon. I don't write novellas or books. I just write stupid one-liners, and people seem to enjoy them so far. But yeah, other than that, I do stand-up, and I'm going to try and be as funny as I can today.
I feel like we should all come together and write a novella that's in Spanish.
I'm for it. I mean, I don't know any Spanish, but
Me neither.
I'd be more than happy to try.
I don't either. I feel like it should be in Spanish about a French noblewoman who lives in Tahiti.
We are like all over the place.
Covering all the gamuts. Because right now those are the places that on our stats have not had listeners for us yet. So we need to like spread this out and make something. So Matt, if you could think up some jokes and then send them to Google Translate and then send them to Fallon.
That Hopefully they'll still make sense.
They won't. Like, I found out a couple days ago that everything gets lost in translation.
Yeah, a lot of my jokes are based on wordplay, too, so I don't think it'll really translate very well.
You know who else's jokes are based on wordplay? Drake.
Wow.
So I don't know. Are you comparing me to Drake right now? Because that's like a huge compliment or insult. I'm not sure.
Do you have an unknown child?
Oh no, I know my kid.
The reason why I'm making fun of Drake right now is because honestly I can, and also because I read today that Drake was co-signed by Jay Prince, who's a relatively luminary. He's legendary in the world of rap. And according to Jay Prince, Drake had a response to Pusha T that would have, quote, ended his career.
That sounds so okay. I heard about this, and that phrase just sounds so childish. It's just like, man, he would have fucked you up if he didn't have to like go back in the house. Like it just doesn't make it. Like
I'm doing my laundry right now, or else. Yeah.
I don't think you know this, but right when I was about to come back,
Geico's got a 97%
right as I was about to come back, I got called inside by my mom because I didn't clean my room.
Like that's exactly what it sounds like. Like you lucky I had detention. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Like when people are holding back somebody. Like I remember this. There was a 9th grader fighting a 9th grader, and they were doing the whole shoulder circle thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I need to go into detail of what the shoulder circle is. Like, kids nowadays shouldn't be listening to the fucking show. So, but at the same time, it's 2018, so some of those kids are now old enough. Okay, I'll explain it. The shoulder circle is when two people are supposed to fight, but both of them realize they don't really want this work. So they touch shoulders and they do-si-do.
Yep, do-si-do and around and around.
We are not a black podcast.
They square dance their way. They antagonistically square dance.
Oh, they growl their way through the do-si-do. You do something. No, you do something. And then they back up and they dust themselves off. It's a whole dance. They dust themselves off, and then they touch opposite shoulders, and they go in the opposite direction. Golly, that was a real dance. The shoulder circle was a real thing. So these two 9th graders were shoulder circling, and they had shoulder circle for like 5 minutes. Mm. And then after you shoulder circle for a while, it progresses to light pushing. Mm-hmm. God, that sounds like a sex toy. It progressed to light rimming. It progressed to light pushing, and then they shoulder circled again, and then the pusher got a little bit harder. And I swear to God, this was rehearsed. One guy, after the shoulder circle, the second shoulder circle, 2 of his friends jumped in front of him and was like, "It's not worth it." It's not even worth. He's not even worth it. Fuck him. You don't have to worry about it. It's not even worth it. And as soon as they stepped in front of him, he turned into the incredible fucking Hulk Hogan. You're lucky they're holding me back. I'd fuck you up. You know what? You're lucky they're right here. Otherwise, that's your ass. Next time I see you, I'm going to fuck you up. There's nobody standing in front of this other dude. Nobody at all. This other guy...
This actually, like, reminds me of, like, when I went to high school, because, like, I spent half of my high school, like, years in a pretty city area, and then I moved to the country, like, way out into, like, the country, like, way out, because, like, we just moved, like, really far out. But anyways, we were at this kind of country school, and my school was actually on the news because the news, I guess they were having a slow cycle. They came up and noticed that a lot of people were fighting, and they labeled it Fight Club. And people at lunch periods or free period blocks or whatever, they would go out and, like, literally just fight each other. And, like, people would videotape it and put it on YouTube. And, like, I guess it became, like, known as some underground fighting circle. But, like, and then, like, the CTV News and everything showed up, and they were, like, interviewing, like, kids, and, like, the principal was just like, we have a zero-tolerance fighting policy or whatever. But, like, so he couldn't technically do anything because the fighting was happening, like, off school property, but, like, everybody in the school knew what it was. And,
he's like, we have a zero-tolerance policy, and somebody in the background is like, no, the fuck we don't!
And, one person, there's, like, 2 guys in my class who were actually, like, fighting, and it was on YouTube, and they were fighting each other, and it was just weird, because, like, I don't know, like, why they were fighting each other, and, like, they were suspended, because they were identified in the tape, but they were still, like, permitted to be in, like, the same class together, because, like, I believe the fight got, like, so bad, where, like, one guy, like, threw a rock at the other guy, and, like, seriously injured his ear, or something, but, yeah, that's just stuff that happens in the country, I guess. So I guess the moral of the story is that if you were having a slow news cycle, then just look to the country.
Also, oh, sorry, go for it, Shante.
Oh, I was going to say his name is Robert Paulson.
And the guy who got hit in the ear with the rock, the other guy just wanted to destroy something beautiful. But the reason why it's not a fight club is because, first of all, nobody should have been talking about that shit.
Exactly.
News shows up and everybody's walking past like, shut the fuck up, snitch. Put the soap away. Second rule of Fight Club is watch out for rocks. Apparently, like, that's where it was going to escalate to. Kids is throwing whatever they could. Okay, let me finish this story real quick, and then I'll talk about the time that I got into a fight club and how it ended with a bottle. So this kid is like, you lucky they fucking hold me back. You lucky they hold me back. Swear to God. Swear to fucking God. The other kid says, yes, I am lucky they're holding you back. And reaches in between the two of them and punches this kid directly in the face.
Damn.
I am lucky they're holding you back. Whop, and just ran.
And booked it.
He took off. It was greatness. The one time I got into a fight at a school that had a fight club mentality where everybody was crowded around me whispering, fight, fight, fight. At least it sounded like they were whispering because I didn't want to be in the fight and nobody would fucking help me out. So I wanted them screaming it, like, say it louder, yeah, fight, fight, fight. No, fight, fight, fight. Fuck you kids. They were all the other kids' friend. I was in a fight that I didn't want to be in, so I knew the dance steps already, so we were shoulder walking. And then we stopped, and then we were going to shoulder walk in the opposite direction. And then somebody said, bottle! I looked up. In hindsight, I still don't know why I looked up to see what was falling out of the sky. And it was a bottle. It was a huge 40-ounce bottle. I guess one of the person I was fighting, their friend couldn't get into the middle of the circle. So they decided to throw ranged weapons and picked up a 40-ounce bottle. Now, the question I have always asked myself is, why was there a 40-ounce bottle on this elementary school campus? But then I remember it's South Sacramento. Teachers needed to do whatever they had to do to hang on. So I looked up and got clocked in the head with cyanides. And so as I was being led to the office because there was a huge knot on my head, the kid I was fighting was like, you're lucky because I would have done worse, which wasn't true. It wasn't true. They were going to shoulder circle me till I got tired and went home. But they were like, I was going to do worse. And I couldn't say anything because I was concussed. That was the worst fight I ever lost. And I couldn't get a rematch because the bottle broke as I think somebody threw it in the trash. But anyhow, Fallon, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Young Shipway, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you.
Glad to be here. And congratulations on 300 episodes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We worked hard for that shit. Do you know how many times Shantae had to literally drag me to the microphone? Do you know how many times I had to drag Shantae to the microphone? It's hard work, y'all. Actually, the answer is 0. We both love this, but still, it's hard work getting here. And on episode 301, we start a new game, speaking of games, oh, fuck. I was at the gym today. No, yesterday. Yesterday I was at the gym. Yeah, that's how it happened. I wasn't there today. Today I went and ate pho. I love saying that word. It's pho. It's not pho, it's pho. And it's fucking phenomenal. Anyhow, I was at the gym, cycling, spin class. I'm old. And as I was walking to my spin class, I noticed that there was this game that I had seen before but had never played before called racquetball. I am pretty confident that racquetball is a white person sport.
I've never played, but I could probably vouch for that.
I've never seen a black person in those rooms.
I only see racquetball in movies.
Yeah, I used to play a lot of handball, like with my coworkers.
Me too.
But yeah, never racquetball.
I don't even know where to get the stuff at if I wanted to play racquetball. Like, do you rent it from the front desk, or do you have to bring your own racket? And how do you ask for it? I feel like there's all these games that black folks just aren't really allowed to play the way that they're supposed to be played. Racquetball and badminton.
Badminton?
Yeah. The one with the shuttlecock.
Is that what it's called?
It's called a shuttlecock.
Oh, okay. Learn something new every day.
And you hit the shuttlecock up in the air, and then you hit it over the net, and then the other person hits. It's not a very intensive game, but
it's like an even wider version of volleyball,
mixed with tennis. If neither of you want to run very fast,
right?
Because all it does is it floats, and then the shuttlecock thing faces down, and it just drops over and over again. But no black folks are allowed to play that.
I think England has, like, a professional badminton league, but, like, I think that's just about it.
I feel like this is like Hogwarts. Like, I am mesmerized by what you're telling me right now. I am willing to venture that there are no black folks in that league. And if black folks try and join it, everybody looks at each other and just puts their head down. There's no league here. There's no league here. First rule of badminton clubs, we don't talk about badminton clubs. His name was Robert Paulson. But the other reason why I'm so happy, so racquetball, don't know what it is, don't know how to play it. If a white person wants to tell me how to play it, I'd appreciate it, because I'm not going to Google it. I'm going to treat y'all just like you treat us. I need one of y'all to tell me something that I could easily look up online. How does it feel, motherfuckers? Second thing is, and Fallon appreciations, we have a new segment. The segment, which I am very pleased with, was all because Fallon. This was Fallon's idea. And I had decided to call this segment Aww. And that's actually stands for something. That's AWWWW. Aww. That stands for Adventures in Working with White Women.
Oh.
Yeah. Today's story is about Trudy. All names have been changed to protect my job. So, Trudy works at the place where I currently work at, and Trudy is a white woman who has a problem with trying to fit in. She wants to be down. She wants to be real down. Like, the first week that I started working there, Trudy told me that, hey, Rashani, hey, you want to know what my favorite song is right now? You know what song I'm bumping right now? Trudy is an older white lady. Trudy is an older white lady who, like, lives in the better part of the town and stuff like that. Like, I live in a good part. She lives in a better part. You want to know what song I'm bumping right now? Yeah, Trudy, sure. She's training me, so I'm like, trying to do my work, because I don't really want to talk with anybody. I just want to get my work done so I can leave. Song I'm bumping right now is Big Sean's I Don't Fuck With You. Huh, that's interesting, Trudy. Why that song? I just like the way that he says it. I don't fuck with you. Yeah, I know the words, Trudy. You little stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. Trudy, I know the words. You little stupid ass bitch, I ain't fucking with you. Trudy, we're at work. Can you calm yourself down? I got a million billion things I'd rather fucking do than to be fuck. You know what, Trudy? Fuck it. Let's go. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about you or your crew. My boss walks in while we're singing I Don't Fuck With You. Trudy looks at me and looks at my boss and points like I'm the reason why the song started.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Just
Blame
kinda,
the black guy.
Just kind of, does the head thing and brings her finger up like, yeah, he was singing that while he was working on bills. That's what keeps him focused in this white world. Later on, Trudy, who, again, was a person who taught me how to put numbers onto a piece of paper so that I could pay a bill. That was hard work. Would tell me in a meeting with my boss that I should be happy and not be mad at her because she taught me everything I know. And then she broke down into tears. The reason why she broke down into tears, I still don't fucking know. I call it the weaponization of white women. But the reason why we were in the conversation in the first place is because I was telling her to mind her own fucking business. And she told me, we need to talk to the manager about this. She immediately tried to get me fired. That was Trudy. That was my adventure in working with white women. Part 1. And trust me, I have some for every fucking episode. They just keep coming back. Matt! As a comedian, I know without a shadow of a doubt that you got stories about working with white women. Or
of course.
Hecklers.
Oh, God.
Is it always white women that heckle people in audiences?
Usually drunk white girls are usually the main hecklers. They're always there to have a good time. It's usually when they just walk in, they don't really realize that there's like a show going on, like if it's at a bar or something, and they're like having a bachelorette party, or they broke up with somebody, so they're just out with friends getting drunk, and yeah, they always like to talk shit. That's a fun thing. I mean, I don't usually deal with hecklers a lot because, I don't know. Like, I'm able to shut them down pretty easily just by being too nice to them, and then they feel bad, and they always apologize to me after the show, which is an interesting thing. But yeah, it's white girls, white women. I've had a few white women bosses, and it feels a lot of times like I don't know, like they overcompensate a little bit because people have looked down on them, or they feel like they really fought to get the job, and then so they have to make up for that in being a dick sometimes.
I feel like you're holding back words.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like I'm thinking about the way that I might be coming across, and I don't want to.
I understand.
I don't want to sound. I don't want to sound like that at all.
Yeah, I understand.
That's not where I'm coming from.
It's admirable.
Thanks.
Because, yeah, we've all dealt with white women.
Yeah.
And it's admirable that you're holding back the years. Holding back the...
Is that Simply Red?
It is.
Okay.
And young Shipway, you keep holding on. Just keep on trying. Because they out there. And, there's no goblin like them.
Well, that's why I feel I'm very fortunate, because I have a job where I don't have to deal with people on the regular. Like, I don't have to deal with a boss. I don't have to deal with coworkers. So I'm very fortunate in that aspect. So I'm kind of, I haven't had to deal with that in a while. So I'm a little out of practice.
Remind me to tell the story of the boss who told me that she thought that we were allies. Like, this was right after Survivor first started. And I was just looking at her like, not here to make friends. Fallon, college in Canada. How's the white women weather up there?
It's not great, but I'm not sure if you heard the story of the or what I like to call the mansion incident.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I'm in a program, gender studies right now for my master's. And, yeah, I'm pretty much in my class, I was the only person of color, but, yeah, anyways, it's gender studies, so we're talking about intersectionality and all that kind of stuff. And, it's supposed to be like a quote unquote progressive humanities social science degree. So a lot of interesting stuff came up regarding marginalization and all that. But in the midst of that, we had class discussions and like a lot of people kind of disclosed personal things about themselves, like, just because people in a lot of these programs are kind of semi-conscious about the injustice, I guess, of capitalism and misogyny and all that stuff. But yeah, like I didn't really disclose anything personal because like I don't really trust people a lot in that context, and I've always got my guard up. But other people did, like they talked about how they were homeless, how they were like assaulted and whatnot, and just capitalism and all that. And so there was one other white woman in the class, who just never seemed to get it. Her specialty, was, I think it was kind of cosmetic beauty and cosmetic stuff. And, she pretty much cited a lot of white feminists, and, this book called The Beauty Myth is kind of like her Bible to feminism, which is really, it's terrible. But anyways, yeah, I believe she was also taking some other electives that dealt with sex work and, just women of color who, in the context of migration and how they face discrimination, and she would always get her ass handed to her in those classes. And like, honestly, I would have taken those classes just for the sake of seeing that. But anyway, but I wasn't in those. But anyway, she would always come to our classes afterwards and cry about like how people were talking down to her in those classes, but she always just said the wrong thing. And I thought it was just kind of like a genuine ignorance that was like innocent and not malicious. But anyways, that was her end of it. And but anyways, I started to kind of side-eye her after our Christmas holidays, which was around the start of the second semester, because she came into the class and she was all tanned, and she said she had gone on vacation, and there's nothing suspect about that. But what was suspect was that she claimed that her husband decided to take her on vacation. He didn't tell her where they were going, and apparently he was just going to surprise her with the destination. So she talked about how she had to pack clothes or outfits for any kind of weather. And then when they got to the airport, apparently she discovered that they were going to a resort and in the Caribbean. So yeah, I just kind of side-eyed that because that seemed kind of unusual, because it's like, how can you just kind of afford to take these vacations? And at the end of the semester, I'm not sure why, if this is like a white people thing, like they wanted to have a party where we all got together and celebrated the end of the semester. And I'm just sitting there like thinking to myself, like, we're like in school still. I don't understand why we're celebrating. Like the end of the semester doesn't mean the end. Like I don't, but anyways, they all wanted to celebrate. And we did the same thing in the fall semester by just getting drinks. And, this time we didn't really have a venue in mind. And this white woman offers to meet at her house. And, we're just like, okay, cool. And I'm just expecting to go to like a regular house or an apartment or something. So I show up to the address, and it turns out to be, and this woman is my age, so 26-year-old white woman. And I go to the address. It turns out this is like this mansion. It's like this 4-story mansion made of brick with like lion statues at the gate, and I'm just there, and I'm like, did I get lost? And I go in, and she's like there, and she's like, it turns out that she comes from like old money, and is apparently like net worth for like $500,000, I guess. But I get into this house, and I'm thinking about all the times in our gender studies classes that she decided to derail conversations which were bordering on cathartic for people who were impoverished, who were sexually assaulted, who were homeless, who were battered, who were in other abusive relationships. I'm thinking about all the time she had to derail them and center her feelings and gaslight them and downplay their feelings and insist that things were kind of idealistic as opposed to the reality we live in. And I'm going back through my mind thinking about how, like, maybe it was, like, innocent. Maybe she really doesn't understand. And I'm in this mansion as she and her husband proceed to talk about, like, all these luxuries they enjoy and all these rap songs that they suddenly decided to mention to me that they enjoy but don't have any knowledge of what the terminologies mean. I'm just thinking about all of that. And then I think the only thing that I disclosed in one of those class discussions was that I was thinking about, I felt insecure about my body, and I was thinking about getting plastic surgery. And she had disclosed that she actually had 2 plastic surgeries, and she had traveled. And so I actually contacted her. I was just like, where did you travel? Like, 'cause, like, if you can recommend places to travel where it would be economical, that'd be awesome. And she never, like, responded. So I get to this get-together, and her husband is making, like, remarks about my appearance as if I'm, like, kind of, like, alluding to the fact that I don't need plastic surgery. And, yeah, they started telling me all these rap songs they listened to, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, why are you telling me this? And they're just like, well, like, are we saying things correctly? Because he actually talked about how he nicknamed her the Trap Queen after Fetty Wap song came out.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm thinking, like, I can correct them, or I can let them continue to make mistakes. And I'm just like, yeah, you've got everything correct. That's a term of endearment to the black community, so keep using it. But anyway, it was just like a mental kind of trip for me, and I felt kind of inadequate afterwards because I thought about, like, I felt kind of shitty in terms of, like, not only being, like, naive to kind of assume that she was, like, kind of innocent and, like, had good intentions as opposed to going home and essentially laughing with her husband and God knows how many other, like, rich housewives about this. But I just felt kind of shitty in terms of the fact that I didn't have that much money or that much materially to show for my, like, age. And she was, like, my age, and she had all that stuff. But also, yeah, it was just kind of a trippy experience because she had deceived everybody in the class, because we are all talking, and we're just talking commonplace, and we're assuming that she's innocent as well, when in reality, she's, like, this super rich person that none of us could have imagined was ever rich, because, like, who was rich at, like, 26? Like, who lives in a mansion with, like, marble floors and, like, 7 or 8 bedrooms? And, like, yeah, it was just a trip, and then after that experience, I just thought to myself, like, I cannot deal with this. Like, I cannot get personal with people, and it just kind of vindicated that I couldn't get personal with people at all in academia. But yeah, that sticks with me. I refer to it as the mansion incident because all of this kind of rushed me when I was at the mansion, and I just ended up leaving early because I could not, I had like such a low level of patience. And, yeah, it was just, yeah, I just shudder to think about it. And now when I play Resident Evil, I'm just playing it and thinking about that incident. But yeah, it was like a trip. It's like they're just talking to you, and like they have like this whole life and all of this privilege that you just never imagined.
I just tend to believe that all white people have hidden privilege. Like they're all rich. Matt. And
I mean, I don't like to brag.
I mean, I just tend to believe that, you know, every white person I talk to has like a trust fund, and they just leave our job and go home and talk about me behind their back. Well, you know, I'm actually kind of talking about them behind their back. So
yeah, I think everybody does that with their coworkers.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what you do, Matt. Don't tell me about your privilege. I love you, Matt. I'm sorry. Let's
It's okay.
make it.
Everybody gets one.
So, Kim Kardashian went to see Donald Trump a couple days ago to discuss prison reform.
Well, wasn't it to
discuss one person?
like, yeah, it was like it wasn't necessarily prison reform, but it was like she was trying to get some people pardoned, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Mm.
The
Like
news keeps on putting it
good
as prison
people, or
reform
just,
because they're
like,
aiming.
who? Like, who was she actually trying to get pardoned? Like, I never heard about that.
Alice Marie Johnson, a 63-year-old woman serving a life sentence without parole for a drug offense.
Ugh.
But when she went to see Donald Trump at the White House to discuss prison reform, again, quotes, because it's really just a pardon, Donald Trump had something else in mind. Trump told the reality TV star and wife of hip-hop I'm sorry, I hiccuped on that because God's trying to stop me. Hip-hop mogul Kanye West in the Oval Office. Trump told the reality TV star that the couple was boosting his popularity with African Americans. That's why he had her there.
Yuck.
Ugh.
Yeah.
About a month before the meeting, West praised Trump in a tweet, claiming that he and the president are both dragon energy. Still don't know what that means, Kobe Bryant. Trump later credited the April 25th West tweet with raising his approval rating amongst African Americans. Quote, Kanye West must have some power because you probably saw I doubled my African American poll numbers. We went from 11 to 22 in 1 week, he said at the NRA annual conference in Texas without identifying the source of the data. So that's why he had her there.
Wow.
Kim Kardashian, dressed in all black except for yellow stilettos, kept her face mostly expressionless on Wednesday when she was in view of the news media watching from the White House lawn and a White House photographer who snapped a picture of her behind the Resolute desk with Trump. She also met with Jared Kushner, who has led a White House effort to build support for legislation that would help prisoners as they re-enter society and develop better work skills while they're incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
After the meeting, Kardashian tweeted, I'd like to thank President Trump for his time this afternoon. It is our hope that the president will grant clemency to Miss Alice Marie Johnson, who is serving a life sentence for a first-time non-violent drug offense. 2 things for me, personally. Hi, this is Rashani. Thing number 1, Kay. I'm happy that she's going all in to get this, to get Miss Johnson pardoned. That's good, you know. Like, if you can even save one person, that's a good thing. But when did she become a guru on prison reform?
Yeah, what gives her the authority to do that? Well, I mean, I guess she's using her celebrity for a good thing,
right?
I guess. Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot more she could probably be doing with that.
I can think of and I know this is going to turn to one of those things where folks are like, you always bring this up, but I could think of 5 black women off the top of my head who would do much better in a meeting if they wanted to, because nobody wants to fucking be around Skunk Trump, but who would do much better in a meeting about prison reform. I could think of them off the top of my head. Kim Kardashian would have never been on that list. I don't know who Miss Johnson is in her life, what she's done for her, but I don't know how this all got started. I'll look it up, honestly, because now I'm curious, but there's
probably saw like a
people.
BuzzFeed article on it or something.
There are so many other people who just would have knocked this out the park. That's all I'm saying. That's it, really. That's all I want. Thoughts, Shantae? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really just don't. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss because I hear what you guys are saying. It's kind of like what gives her the authority, the right, not really the right, because I mean, obviously, she can do what she wants to do or whatever. But it's just, I think there's something to be said about, even though we have such a shitty president, people are still operating are not focused on the fact that it's Donald Trump and he's a shitty person, but focused on the title. Like somehow the title of being president is going to make something happen. And I just don't think I don't think that makes sense to operate like that with this president. I think if it was someone else, sure, you might be able to go in there and talk to that person because that person is the kind of person who's going to be receptive to that. Like if it had been George Bush might have been receptive to that. Barack Obama might have been receptive to listening to someone advocate for another person, where with Donald Trump, and I think Justin said this a couple of shows ago, that it's just a photo op.
Yeah.
This is just him interacting with Kim Kardashian and him talking about look, you guys helped my popularity with, the black vote or, black people or whatever. He just cares about himself. So I think that he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to be who he's going to be. I feel like everyone else needs to act accordingly, I guess. Stop acting. I mean, yes, he's the president, but it's like he's the president in theory, in kind of name only.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious he didn't become president because he loves America. He became president because he wanted that title.
Yeah.
This is like Donald Trump is the equivalent of being president of your junior high school 7th grade class. You're not really running shit. There's somebody else who's running it. You just really got the name president so that you get into the dances for free. That's what I voted for. That kind of thing. Is that? Well,
not even like that, because he is. I mean, he's making choices and he's saying things and doing things, and they're having an impact. It's just that he's only focused on himself and what he wants. He is not a politician who is going to be willing to hear someone else about anything. Probably, the right person could probably roll up on Paul Ryan and he might listen to it. Where I don't think I don't think there's a right person to roll up on Donald Trump for him to listen to them unless it benefits him. If he sees an immediate benefit for himself, then he would go ahead and meet with him, which is perhaps why he met with Kim Kardashian in the first place, because because he's thinking that Kanye and her, basically not pushing back on people saying that he was, not pushing back on what Kanye said is basically an endorsement for him. And so he feels good about that. So yes, he'll chop it up with somebody who's making him feel good about himself.
Yeah. Well, that's why he constantly changing all of his advisory board because he just wants yes men.
Right.
There's a right and a wrong way to roll up on Don Trump. You know.
I need more vodka.
We'll be right back. This single simulcast. I want vodka. I want liver. Meow mix, please deliver.
Hey everybody, this is Gerald Jones from the Buy Black podcast, and you're listening to Single Simulcast. I've been drinking a whole bottle of wine through this episode. This is the first podcast I've been on where I've been allowed to drink, and I'm loving it. Y'all keep listening.
I'm Amber P. I'm also black, sexy, geeky, and mental. And you are listening to Single Simulcast. Rock on, cool kids.
Hey, this is Charlotte. Black Lives Matter. Glenda Castile, Life Matters. Single Simulcast is what you're listening to.
Hey, this is Marla, owner of Velvet Lips and co-founder of the Sex Down South Conference, and you are listening to Single Simulcast.
Hi, I'm Fallon of FallonKitty.com, a critic and creator, and you're listening to Single Simulcast.
I'm a product my own decisions.
You're right. You're a product of your own decisions. This is Single Simulcast.
Hey, that was Joshua Harvey from the Meat Simulcast. Shall surely surface speedily.
Matt, young Shipley from the Meat Cute, and we're proud to be the official first white guest on the Single Simulcast. And thank you guys for listening. This place is awesome, and you should definitely keep listening. So, thank you.
This Single Simulcast.
Who Raised You podcast is a kitchen table conversation between Karen, Jalian Yang, and
Treasure Shields Redmond.
as we explore how culture, family, and intersecting identities pave our way toward liberation. We want to know, who raised you? We're curious and sometimes a bit irritated. Sit down, we have lots to talk about.
Single Simulcast wants your reviews. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or wherever you listen to us. Tag Single Simulcast with the screenshot of your review on Facebook, or use the hashtag SSCast on Twitter. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey, I know you're probably wondering who I am. Well, my name is Joy, and I'm the host of Fresh Out the Cocoon, a podcast that gets real about being black and being fabulous all at the same damn time. Trust, you don't want to miss the things that are discussed on this show. So join me every other Sunday as I release new episodes. I'm currently on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, and TuneIn Radio.
Hello, this is Stephanie from the Mocha Minutes podcast. If you can hear my voice, that means you're tuning in to two of my faves, Rayshani and Shantae Fabulous of the Single Simulcast. Congrats! You made a really good choice today. You want to make another good choice? Check me out on the Mocha Minutes podcast. You won't be disappointed. If you're tuning in to the Single Simulcast, you're going to love the Mocha Minutes podcast too. You can find the Mocha Minutes podcast wherever you find your podcasts. We'd love to have you tune in. Okay. Bye.
Hi, this is your man Jeremy from the Crown and Collars podcast, and you are listening to Single Simulcast with my man Rashani and Shantae Fabulous, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. And I'm your favorite podcaster, so that should be your favorite podcaster, because I'm your fave, and your fave's fave. Check them out on Single Simulcast. And check out Crown and Collars, found wherever you can find great podcasts and the CSPN network.
Are you interested in supporting this black podcast? Awesome! Become a Patreon member at www.patreon.com/singlesimulcast. And for $5, you'll be able to chat with the hosts during our monthly Q&A Awesome session. You can also support the show via our Teespring store at teespring.com/stores/single-simulcast and get a shirt or a mug. You also have the option to put a little something in our cup at paypal.me/single-simulcast.
My name is Jordan Redfield Wade.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the so-called People's Champion.
By day, I'm a philanthropist and private investigator.
You risked your own life to try and protect someone who needed it. If that's what's needed to be a hero, then I want to help.
But by night, I protect the people of Newark City in a different way.
My name, champ, is Redwing.
Do I need to count the sheer number of felonies you committed today?
As she lay dying, I promised my mother that I would fight for those who couldn't fight for themselves. And I refused to let her down.
I would do anything to keep you safe, you know that, anything.
Even murder?
If that's what it took, then yes.
I am the defender of Newark City.
Justice is not something you can manufacture.
I am Redwing.
You did something, and I heard me.
Something. A little
I don't
something,
anymore.
Something for the honeys. A little something. Something for the honeys. Yeah.
Guy that likes the...
I don't even know the words anymore.
I can't remember the words either, actually. That's what was just happening. I was like, what did he say in that song?
I really don't know any of the words.
Yeah, that was his. All you know is,
you know what?
Something for the honeys.
You know what?
Something.
I bet you we play that song as soon as we hear it, we're going to know the words sporadically. I'm the guy that likes to pick you up. That's not it.
In my something trunk.
Put it in your butt.
That should be it. That's a much better line than whatever he came up with.
Dang. Montel Jordan, his one, Something for the Honeys isn't even one of his top 5 songs on Spotify.
Are you serious?
How? Like he has 4 other songs.
Let's get it on tonight. Let's get it on tonight.
Okay,
yeah.
I forgot about that song.
Twice.
Wait, this is how you do it? Is on there twice? It's like a remix?
Probably because, if you have a best of album.
Oh, yeah.
How the fuck does he have a best of album?
I don't know. Let's see what's on it.
Kick back. I turn around my baseball cap. I'm 46 on my lap.
Coming right back at you.
He sounds like
this song for the Hunters? Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's what he did, man. He would sound like he was about to rap and he'd sing Tyrese Styles.
Baby, this is for you and you and
definitely you.
Type of guy who takes time to just kick back. Turn around
my baseball
cap.
I got a 46 ivory.
So let's see. Female worth my while.
I'm so, and I know
I hit it and I hit it if she's with it.
I get the 5 to the 6, 7 digits. Call her up on my cellular.
And all the shit that I say.
The fun
will begin when I hit the scissors.
You fucking called that shit. As soon as the fucking song played, it was like, I got it.
Fixed. He actually came and he met Vyra for the first time after he got fixed. And, he met everybody else and everyone was fine. But then Vyra came and then I'm like, hey, Clark, this is Vyra. And Vyra's like, hi. And Clark proceeded to, try and mount Vyra with his cone on and everything. I just brought him home the same day, and I'm like, Clark, what are you doing? You just met her, and you just got fixed. What is happening?
And he was like, Jesus gonna work it out. Jesus gonna work it out. You have 3 cats, right? Clark, Vyra, and James.
I have 4.
Yeah, 4?
Yeah. It's funny because they're both, I guess, couples. Edith is with James, and Clark is with Vyra. But ever since they met, Vyra has always given Clark a side eye because, every time she lets her guard down, Clark is there, and he's just like, hey, can I just slide in? And she's just like, really, Clark?
I'd have a side eye too if the first time I meet you, you got a big ass cone on your head and you trying to dry hump me while Adele's "Hello from the Other Side" plays in the background, and I'm like, yo, I'm not up for this right now. And I mean, it was just weird. Like, why the fuck was she wearing a cone in the first place? She would never tell me that. Nobody wants to answer that question for me. I have questions. Wait, what? It was uncomfortable. That's all I'm going to say. I've been through some things. Hello from the other side. I really need to sing more songs to get these all out of my system. So here in Sacramento, we have this game that I like to play. Like literally, I like to play it like at least twice a year. Like 3 times a year. The game is called I Haven't Paid My Registration Yet. And a police officer just pulled up behind me. So ways to dodge the popo. That's what it's called. Outsmart the popo. Usually it goes, a cop pulled up behind you, so you make the next turn. If that cop makes the next turn, then you pull off. Like, you completely just pull into a gas station or something to get out your car, because they can't arrest you if you're not in your car. That's the rule that I always thought worked. It doesn't. However, my game is not the same as the game that was actually being played in Vacaville, which is a little bit further out from where I'm at, which is this. A Vacaville police officer noticed a fraudulent registration sticker on a car near the premium outlets and pulled the driver over, only to find a number of stolen high-end baseball gloves inside the car. The driver is on post-release community supervision for a firearms violation in Sacramento. The passenger is on felony probation in Placer County. All they want to do is play baseball, officer.
Sounds like a Bad News Bears situation. Maybe he just stole all those mitts so he could let his kids play.
You know what? There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mitts. There's 9 people on a team. Officers conducted a probation search on the vehicle and found the baseball gloves with the finger lacings cut, indicating that theft deterrent sensors were cut off. The officers also found scissors, wire cutters, and a magnet device in the car. They then called the local sporting goods store and found out that Dick's Sporting Goods had recently had... The fuck? Those 9 gloves? You gotta be kidding me. Recently had $2,805 worth of gloves stolen. My kids are never fucking playing baseball, I swear to God. The store provided surveillance video on both suspects appeared to be the same. Several other stores in the Bay Area have reported similar crimes. So again, these guys had stolen baseball gloves for their team, community service. That's probably what they told the officers too. We were doing community service. Don't take us back. But they put blue electrical tape over the registration sticker that's on the back of the car to indicate that their registration was paid, which I think is fucking genius, and I'm scared to try.
Yeah, I've thought about trying that before.
Right?
I never did. I've been pulled over for having no registration, but I'm white, so they just let me go. Every single time. Like, no joke, every single time.
The question that I have is, I've been behind cars. How can you tell, those numbers are so small. They're so tiny. I am convinced the cops are just guessing. Because unless you're right up on my bumper and you have great eyesight, you can't tell that my registration is expired. Except for when they caught me 3 times. They caught me twice in one day once. That was really special. One cop was like, hey, we pulled you over because your tags are expired. I was like, I know, officer. I'm on my way to the DMV right now to get it fixed. He was like, okay, cool. I'm going to give you approximately an hour to come back to get these fixed. If we see you on the street in an hour and it's still not fixed, we're going to tow your car. All right, cool, whatever. Left. DMV was already closed. Started on my way home. Got pulled over again. Another officer was like, I see that you got pulled over. I was like, he really typed that? And they were like, yeah. So get out your car. And my shit almost got towed until Isabella's mom, who was white, was like, officer, the DMV was closed. And they were like, well, why didn't you get out in the first place? And they let me go home with a fix-it ticket. White people saved the day. Don't tell anybody I said that.
But back to these gloves. Like, they really just felt like we're making up that they stole the gloves for the team, right?
There's no reason why two people will steal 9 baseball gloves.
Like, they was getting ready to move some weight in them gloves.
No,
they were probably tweakers.
Tournament.
Drugs.
Like, stealing baseball mitts is definitely a tweaker move.
Drugs.
Tournament. Coach, we're playing with these gloves that don't have any punch in them. They have no pop. Don't worry, little Billy. I promise you, we're going to make it to that tournament. And then the inspirational music plays in the background, and Billy says, Coach, you're the best. And then the coach says, I've changed so much since I met you, Billy. And then they hug, and then his partner's like, how are we going to get the gloves, Bob? And Bob is like, don't worry, Joseph. I've got a plan. Exactly. And they went straight to dicks because they're both criminals. This sounds like some Disney shit.
No.
Be real. Disney could really write this into a movie.
Cocaine.
No.
Cocaine.
Where would they put cocaine in the glove?
They slide it up in there. They put it in boxes.
So they have it in their butt. How are they putting it in the glove? Wait, when you said it slide it up in there, you meant something completely different, didn't you?
Oh my God. In the glove, in the little, they wrap it up real tight, little cylinders, slide it up.
Still sounds like you're talking about putting it in your butt.
It does. It's all sexual, but it's illegal, and it's drugs.
And
it's moving weight.
And
they're playing Black
gloves.
Betty like in Blow. That's what is popping. Like, that's where it's not any like Disney movie. No, it's like whatever songs were playing in Blow. That's what's being played right now.
I really enjoyed that movie.
It's a good one.
It is.
No Country for Johnny Depp though.
No. He's gonna die soon.
Somebody,
Is that a threat?
I've seen the pictures.
Wait, somebody said there was a picture of Johnny Depp on my Facebook, and somebody said, why is Johnny Depp out here looking like El DeBarge? I was so upset. I was like, El deserves better than this comparison.
I'm just saying, Johnny is on his, I don't know, like, Johnny looks like, it's the best way to put this. There's these characters in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. These little white things that just pop up out the ground. He looks like a zombie! Long story short, he looks like Macaulay Culkin now. So, yeah, no, Shantae. Where would they put, like, okay, so they roll it up. They lube it up real nice. They wrap it up real tight, and then they just put it into the pouch of the glove. And then what? They drive across the border with it. What exactly are they supposed to do with the cocaine next?
You take it out. You just putting the cocaine in something inconspicuous. That's why they got it. They got the gloves. It's like, oh, this is for a team thing. You put it in, some type of sports bag, you put on the uniform, your two coaches, helping out some team or something. And, you got all your gloves for your kids and everything, and nobody's going to suspect anything that you got some white girl in the gloves.
I could see that. And then, like, after the game is over, you have a deal with the umpires. And the umpires are the ones who are really pulling the weight. And so you give them 8 gloves and they give you 8 balls. And then, like, they give you heroin, you give them cocaine. It's like an exchange program and everybody's friends at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just making it happen.
Right.
Instead of orange slices, you just get a whole bunch of cocaine.
Right. I mean, let's just go all out and just mix the cocaine into the Gatorade. Freeze the Gatorade and, everybody has cocaine pops. I don't even know if you could do that with cocaine because I don't do... You can tell that I have no knowledge of... Shantae has more knowledge about this than I do, and it all comes from watching Blow, ladies and gentlemen.
It does. I've watched it a lot.
Remember that part where Tuna is on the beach and smoking the weed at the beginning. Yeah, that's dope. That's all I really remember. I mean, I have the movie. It's just, yeah, I need to watch it more. I feel bad. I'm going to catch up with you, though. Speaking of dealing drugs in weird places, yeah, so there's this guy who works for the police. He actually works at the coroner's office in New Orleans. But he was fired in April after he was accused of dealing drugs. And he admitted that he had been using a city-owned morgue van to buy and sell heroin. Rodney Sugarman Robinson, that's not suspicious, who had been a familiar figure at crime scenes around the city for years, apparently also managed to land his job at the coroner's office despite a prior conviction for dealing drugs. And then he kept the job even after he was accused of robbing a woman of some jewelry, according to a recently unsealed transcript of a closed-door hearing. That's how you know he's a cop. Robinson,
was there a shortage of coroners in that town?
It's gotta be.
Like, there's nobody else who wants to do this, dog. We are so short-handed. Robinson and several other men were implicated earlier this year by federal investigators who were looking into an area drug trafficking group with ties to Colombia, a major exporter of heroin. And here I just thought they did compact discs.
Colombianos.
A grand jury issued an indictment in March charging several defendants who were working together to run drugs from Houston and New Orleans for months and perhaps longer. Robinson's name was added a month later in an amended indictment that accused him both of collaborating with the group and dealing heroin on a specific date in July. 4 days later, a cop testified in court that he asked Robinson to step over to the side with him so that he could read him his rights and arrest him after they arrested him at the scene of a drug overdose death on April 13th. Why are you the first one here? Picking up the body, man. Just picking up the body.
Wow.
Why are you at the front? Why are you always here already at all the drug-related deaths? Just lucky, dog. I'm the sugar man. I feel like that's a nickname that he used with everybody. Hey, man, you know I got it. I'm the sugar man. And he said it just like that. Like his voice got deeper. I'm moving my head back and forth as I say it, too. Hey, don't worry, man. I'm going to meet you at the club later on tonight. Count on me, dog. I'm solid. I'm the sugar man.
You gotta stop.
And now it sounds like something from the 70s. What up, jive turkeys?
Yeah, that's exactly. Tell like this. It's the Mac. Like that's what he's.
What up, cat daddy? I'm the sugar man. Don't beat me up. The person you want to see is the sugar man. Tell me about this sugar man. He drives a hearse. Wait, no. He drives a, what is it called again? You jive turkey fool. He drives a coroner's van, Shaft. And he's dealing drugs to the kids.
That's exactly what this, oh my God, it really is like, it really does sound like this. He's doing exactly what would happen like in a movie. Some kind of person who you think has a legit job, but it's not a legit job. They're using their legit job to do shady shit.
Nah, baby, I would never do that. Look at me. Look at me. We've been ace boon coons since we was knee-high to a butterfly, baby. I would never do that to you, cat daddy. Look at me. You know who I am. I'm the sugar man.
Please stop saying that.
I'm your mama. I'm your daddy. I'm that nigga in the alley. I got drugs when you need some horse, need some weed. If you die, I don't care. Coroner's van over there. I'm the sugar man.
Please stop. Man, See, I'm gonna be talking to my husband about this later on because I'm not gonna be able to get this out of my head. I'm the sugar man. Please stop.
Dun-dun, sugar man.
You should get shirts with that on there.
Oh, man. Too much.
If you see me, you won't tell, 'cause you'll die before I go to jail. Got the van right over there with formaldehyde in there. This dog is eating Kleenex. See, that's when I meant to talk about that. Sorry, Sugar Man, we got to come back to you. By the way, the coroner's office fired Robinson shortly after his arrest in the federal drug case. That's what it took. One of his daughters testified that their family had gotten Robinson a new job at a local building material supplier and would ensure his presence in court if he was released on bond, but they said no. No, nigga, no. 2 weeks after his arrest, then coroner Jeffrey Rouse released data showing that the number of drug-related deaths in the city had outpaced its notorious drug toll for a second year in a row. The Sugar Man's been busy. Only Alex Cross can stop him. That's what this sounds like. This sounds like an Alex Cross novel. So anyway, my dog used to be homeless, right? Before we found him, he was out on the street. We thought he belonged to somebody, but he doesn't. And as a result, this dog eats fucking everything. And I don't know how he gets it. Like, I have stuff that's up on a table, and it'll just levitate to his mouth. And then one day, I was sitting there just minding my own business, and I watched this dog hop into a chair and then hop onto the table like a cat. The dog is fucking adapting to my house. I don't like it. Now I gotta leave chairs all pushed in and stuff. We gotta take second chances. We gotta put stuff away. This dog is making us have to be like all attention-y and stuff. I don't like it. But he's a wonderful dog. He's awesome. He's dizzy. Anyhow, so this valedictorian in Kentucky, everybody was happy because they graduated. And this guy, he was a valedictorian, wanted to share some words of wisdom with his graduating class by giving some quotes. And he said, quote, Ben Bowling, that's his name. He said, "This is the part of my speech where I share some inspirational quotes I found on Google. First quote, don't just get involved. Fight for your seat at the table. Better yet, fight for a seat at the head of the table. Donald J. Trump." And the whole crowd went wild. They were, yeah, that's my nigga, Donald J. Trump, yeah. And then Ben said, just kidding, that was Barack Obama, and the whole place went fucking silent. And I kid you not, I've seen the video and heard the entire place go just absolutely silent as he says, psych, that was Barack Obama. It was great.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a really good quote, but I didn't want to compliment Trump.
Okay, so there's a part of me that thought this was like, oh yeah, that's cool or whatever, but it was something about his reaction that was just like, oh, I was just doing this to be funny, you know, like little dude, if it was his time to vote, he would have voted for Trump too. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was nothing about him that was just like, I wanted to do like a whole gotcha bitch because I'm down with Obama, you know, whatever, you know, something like that. You know, to be like, you know, fuck these hypocrites or something. Like, it was just like, oh, funny joke. I was just like, okay, cool, you know, funny joke. That's cool. You know, congratulations or whatever. Oh, and then I kind of kept it moving.
80% of the people in his town voted for Trump. So, yeah, he would have voted for Trump. He didn't mean nothing by this. He'll act like he meant something by it, because why not? But nah. He graduated with a 4.216 grade point average. He'll be attending the University of Kentucky, and he's really excited to go to college because there's more freedom in college and there's way more places to eat. That's all. That was the whole story. He fooled a bunch of white people. It was great. So, speaking of white professors and white college, There was a white professor at Rutgers University who railed against white children as little Caucasian assholes in a racist Facebook rant that called them out for being privileged. First of all, you can't be racist against your own, right? Like, that's how it works. White people can be racist, but can you be racist against other white people? I don't know.
Yes, dude. That's how it was back in, like, the 1800s, like, in the gang wars and shit.
No,
like,
those were Irish people.
Yeah, Irish people hated, like, the Scottish, and the Scottish hated the English, and everybody hated everybody for any reason that they could.
But everybody loved the Sugar Man.
Oh, my God. Sugar Man. I'm stressed.
James Livingston blew his lid on Thursday after grabbing a burger to go from restaurant Harlem Shake on West 124th Street. Quote, "Okay, officially, now I hate white people. I'm a white person, for God's sake, but can we keep them, us out of my neighborhood?" How does that work? What? Can we keep them, us out of my neighborhood? He wrote on the post that's since been deleted. He said the restaurant was, quote, overrun with little Caucasian assholes who know their parents will approve of anything they do, end quote. He continued, "Slide around the floor, you little shithead, singing loudly, you unlikely moron. Do what you want. Nobody here is going to restrict your right to be white." I don't see a lie here. Livingston, who teaches history at the college, I bet you it was black history, was apparently so disgusted over what he saw, he declared, "I hereby resign from my race. Fuck these people. Yeah, I know. It's about access to my dinner. Fuck you too." Of course, because he was talking about white people, the post was flagged on Facebook, which took it down for violating community standards on hate speech.
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot for black folks, Matt. Like, we say something about white people and it gets taken down. I don't know. Nobody's flagged your jokes for being hate speech yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay. Not even the one that you told a couple days ago?
I don't think so.
Okay, that one was pretty edgy. It was pretty over the top. I was like, and then I was like, I get it. Y'all should really check out Matt's joke of the day. Like, it's really fun.
I'm not sure if you guys have heard about the Canadian professors that have become kind of internationally known as, like, hateful, racist assholes. But there's actually one, like, right in my province who's in the news, and he's finally been investigated. But, like, the wild thing is that he's not white, but, like, he says, like, the most racist stuff and supports, like, white supremacists. And, like, he posts all of this on Facebook and Twitter. Like, I guess he's somewhat of a celebrity on Twitter, but the funniest thing is that he, like, totally, he says this stuff, and it's absurd because he's not even white. But he tries to get attention and support from the actual alt-right white celebrities on social media, and, like, they always pay him dust every time, even after he was, like, he is currently being investigated by the university, because, like, those other professors were investigated, and, like, I don't know how those investigations turned out, but some of them evidently turned out in their favor because they're now tenure. But anyways, he thought that, like, you know, he was down, and that, like, because he said all that stuff, and he holds these absurd views, that all of these white people would come to his aid, only to kind of discover that, like, no, dude, you can say all that stuff, but you're, like, not white, and we don't like you, so. But yeah, he's all over social media, and it's just hilarious to watch, because, like, he says all this stuff on Facebook as well, and it's all public. But yeah, like, I just don't understand that stuff, like, when it comes to professors, because, like, and I'm starting to see it, too, as I get older and kind of climb the ranks in terms of graduate school, where I become a teaching assistant, and I have students who will, like, friend me on Facebook or, like, follow me on social media, so I've become kind of, like, self-conscious about, like, what I share, and, like, wonder if, like, there are, like, these white kids undercover kind of, like, watching everything I do, and or just waiting to complain or something. But yeah, that's kind of a challenge, I guess. And I'm not white, so I don't get that support, regardless of what I say as that story evidence. But yeah, it's just kind of weird sometimes too, and it's also weird to kind of see students hit on you, because that happened, and I didn't really know how to deal with that. I was just like, no, we cannot date, but thank you for asking. But yeah, that's just always bizarre. And now I'm just kind of thinking about, like, if professors are actually conscious of what they say and what they do, and, like, these other students as, like, people who wield power as well, in terms of, like, ganging up against you and potentially reporting you.
Personally, now this is me, Rashani, kicking back, being cool. When you said that the professor wasn't internationally known, I finished the sentence with, but I'm known to rock the microphone because I get stupid. I mean, outrageous.
Oh my God.
It takes two to make a thing go right. I have stopped depending on anybody else to help me get out of jams, especially non-people of color. I think that's the safest way to put it, because anybody who's not a person of color is white. That's the trick shot. I don't even count on Matt.
Totally understandable.
Yeah, like I remember there was a couple of days ago, I was watching Matt do a show through the window because I couldn't afford to get in, and I was watching, and some people outside were like, "Hey man, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm watching my homeboy," and they were like, "Who?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna say his name." That didn't actually happen because Matt is completely in a different part of the state than I'm in, but y'all believed it for a second. Like, y'all thought that I was really standing outside of a show. If I went to Matt's show, don't you know he would not let me in for free? Because he needs some money. I understand completely. Like, ticket sales. I would pay to go to one of Matt's shows. I wouldn't pay to go to one of Josh's shows, though. I wouldn't.
Wow.
I just feel like his show, I feel like there'd be like a 5-drink minimum on top of having to pay for a ticket, and I'm just not that sedity. I'd ask to be on the guest list, VIP. Let me sit in the front so I can stare at all the people who want to heckle you. Don't heckle him. But yeah, so this professor got fired, I guess. He said, quote, "I've just been told by Facebook that my rant v. white people makes me dangerous." I swear this guy I swear he wants to say the N-word sometimes when he listens to rap music. "I've just been told by Facebook that my rant v. white people makes me dangerous, socially media speaking, even though I'm a white person or people or whatever," he wrote. The next day, he clarified his offensive diatribe, kind of like Roseanne. Never mind. "I just don't want little Caucasians overrunning my life as they did last night," he wrote. "Please God, remand them to the suburbs where they and their parents can colonize every restaurant, all the while pretending that their idiotic indulgence to their privilege signifies cosmopolitan, as in sophisticated European commitments." Damn.
Wow. I wonder how long this dude has lived in this neighborhood, though.
Right?
Because, like, on the one hand, it's like, if you tell me that you've been in this neighborhood, like, this is your neighborhood. Like, you've grown up here, because it's not, impossible that a white person could be, somewhere in New York City that, that might have black people in it and being possibly gentrified now, and everything. But yeah, I just want to know how long this dude has been in this neighborhood, because there's the possibility that somebody could have, if he hasn't lived in this neighborhood forever, that somebody could have seen him and been like, another one, moving into the neighborhood, just, I don't know, he's wilding. I think a little bit. For one, because nobody wants to hear other people talk about kids in that kind of way, even shitty kids. Like, there's just a point where you go too far talking about shitty kids, and even the people that don't like shitty kids or don't like kids in general, they get offended, you know. So he possibly probably crossed the line with all kinds of different people going off on kids. Then the whole, like, Caucasian kids, which perhaps I do understand why he's being very specific, because if people know where, if he lives in a neighborhood that does have black people, a lot of black people, or perceived as having a lot of black people, then somebody might say, well, they might, if they have that information, they might get salty and be like, well, you don't like black, for him not getting specific, he gets turned into being called racist, but then he got called racist anyway. So.
And he also said his comments have attracted 30 angry emails and messages, including 3 promising bodily harm. Quote,
yeah, not surprised.
One guy even left me a phone message, which I took as a warm and personal approach to the matter, he wrote Sunday. And the designations, racist fuck stain is my fave so far. Let's see if this goes through. I take that back. He hasn't been fired yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I kind of get his point of view. White people are the worst. Like, all the shittiest people that I know are white. Like, that's a fact. It's going to sound like a generalization, but it's not. And it's, I don't know, because I'm a Jew, and all the bigotry, all the like hatred, all the anger I've always gotten has always been from white people, other white people, who are always like, oh, you're not Jewish. It's like, yes, I am. Well, you don't look like a Jew. Thanks, I guess. I don't really know how to respond to that. And then, like, well, why are you Jewish? It's like, why the fuck do you think I'm Jewish? Like, it's like, it's not a choice. Like, David Cross has a great joke about being Jewish. It's like, it's the one religion you don't choose. Just as soon as you slide out your mom's vagina, you're Jewish automatically. You're already in the club, and you can never leave it.
I feel like there's so many conversations I would want to hear white people have, but I don't think my heart could take it. I think that after a while it would just like get because I just feel like there's so many options they can go to for just saying racist off the wall type shit. Ooh, I was talking about this a couple days ago, that I just realized a few Saturdays back that there are more than just white fraternities and sororities and black fraternities and sororities at colleges.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Blew my mind.
Band ones?
No. I know about the band ones and the theater ones and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, specifically, there's fraternities and sororities for Latinx people and Asian people. Never even thought about it. Never crossed my mind. That's fucked up. But it never crossed my mind because I never had to really think about it until I witnessed it. And then it just suddenly popped in my mind like fucking duh. But before that, it was just like, damn, I really just thought that if you weren't a part of a black fraternity or sorority, you were just in a white one or else a band one or a theater one or whatever it may be. And no, nigga, every race has like, if there's enough people to generate a fraternity or a sorority and nationwide, every race has. Blew my mind. Crazy thoughts.
I mean, we all got our blind spots.
Right?
So that's what's up.
Apparently my blind spots are step teams. I just really didn't think that there were any outside of black folks. And there are.
Oh, they got step teams though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. That is not something that I would have, I guess, expected across the board, I guess.
I'm just guessing across the board, but I know that this group that I saw had one, I guess.
Okay.
So they were practicing. I mean, as far as I was concerned, their group's name should have been Rhythmless Nation, but...
oh, no. They couldn't get it. Oh,
they were
that's
trying,
sad.
So, Starbucks had their racial bias day, where they shut down all the Starbucks, I guess in the United States, right? Like, they didn't shut them down worldwide. They just shut down the ones in the United States, because that's where racism happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
and proceeded to show videos of black folks getting beat up by white people.
Yikes! Really?
Yeah, that's what they did at the bias training. They showed videos of black folks being beat up by white people and being beat up by cops. And hold on, Starbucks racial bias training. Here we go. Didn't take much. Yeah. Starbucks workers divided on the one-day racial bias training. Say that the issue runs deeper than people think. One black woman walked out. Two black guys said that they didn't even talk about what happened at the actual store until the black men mentioned it. That they were just happy to show videos over and over again about people getting beat up by white cops and white people. Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah, they didn't learn very much.
But that makes sense. It makes sense in the sense that, especially around like in these last few years, as all these incidents have kind of come to the forefront and everything, you have people like, obviously in the beginning, people were posting the videos, and they were posting the videos as far as they were concerned for awareness. But as time has gone on, it's like, yo, don't post those videos, stop retweeting those videos, because it's basically like torture porn for motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. You know, they're enjoying watching it. It's entertainment, you know, at this point for a lot of people.
How long was the training going on for? Was it an all day, like an 8-hour shift where they were just watching these videos? Because it seems like it would more desensitize them to it than make them more sensitive to the issue. I mean, if I'm watching anything for 8 hours straight, I'm gonna get bored with it. I'm gonna either lose interest, or it's just gonna be like, it's just waves of information just coming at me that I'm just kind of blocking out.
Right.
I'm not quite sure how long they ran it. I figure it was an all-day ticket, but yeah.
Yeah, they wildin' though. It just reminds me of like people pushing back on Sean King, because it had got to a point where a lot of people had stopped posting the videos, but it was like, here comes Sean King posting the fucking video, you know, of the person getting shot, the person getting beat, you know, this and that and everything. And it's just like, stop posting the fucking video, you know, because all these people aren't wanting, you know, all these people following you aren't watching this as a person that cares about the plight of the people that are being beaten. Some of these people are watching this because they want to, you know, because entertainment shit. Stop the shit. So that's gross.
Somebody, Zachary Wright, posted an article or wrote a story saying that if we're talking about racial bias training at Starbucks, we need to have racial bias training at schools too.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They said that there is a problem with teachers being fearful of the students in their classes and saying that the black kids talk back and challenge their authorities. That the student's action was described as aggressive behavior as he, quote, hulkingly stood up from his seat. The student that they were talking about was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we should take time out over the summer. I think the schools should take time out over the summer as part of the deals that are being signed to get teachers raises that they obviously deserve, you know. Teachers still aren't being paid enough. But they need to learn how to better work with folks outside of their race. To be more specific, work with black children. Because there's still an overwhelming number of children who are being, or an overwhelming number of black children who are being sent out of class, suspended, put in detention, for small incidents all the way back to starting in preschool and kindergarten. There are kids who are being expelled from school for being overly aggressive, and that's not going to work, as far as building a hopeful and healthy future for these kids who have a right to learn just like any other kid in that class do. So, Fallon, you got any thoughts on that?
I agree with it. It's just, I don't really have a lot of faith, I guess, in the system, just based on, like, how so many bad people are teachers when they shouldn't be teachers. Mm-hmm. I think you shared that video recently of that woman who called the cops on, like, black people who were just swimming in the pool area of, like, some apartment complex or something, and, like, she was just there, and she's just like, well, they were making fun of me, and I was just really sad, and I wanted to talk to someone or something, but what got to me was that, like, so many people in the comment section, and they were mostly white women, they were, like, defending the woman who called the police. They were claiming she was mentally ill and being bullied by, like, these black people, etc., and, just a gander at, like, the people posting these comments. You could see a lot of them are parents, and then if you look further, you can see a lot of them are employed by child care services. Some of them I saw just because I had really nothing else to do at work as I was browsing this. Some of them were even teachers. Some of them worked in community centers, and almost all of them had children of their own. And it just kind of, I don't know, it just made me kind of more pessimistic in terms of educators and all of that, because, like, there's all of these white women and other people with, I guess, internalized anti-blackness and all of that, who are in these positions of authority and employed in these educational roles, and, like, regardless of how much sensitivity training they get, they still kind of project those prejudices and biases on, like, impressionable students who can internalize those things.
So now, is the training just for the teachers, or is it also for the students as well?
No, I would say that the training is only for the teachers.
Yeah.
That's what I would say, because students, it's kind of like saying, is it training for the cops or the training for the public, or is it for both? Cops are able to be in a position of power. They can actually de-escalate the situation or escalate the situation. I feel it's the same thing for teachers. Mm-hmm.
And, like, children also obviously need it as well, because, that is working.
Start young.
But yeah, like, there's lots of stories in the news that are circulating in Canada right now, particularly around Indigenous youth. Like, one that just blew up was an incident in Calgary where, like, an Indigenous boy was at school and one of his white classmates actually, like, cut his braid.
Mm.
So, like, and people are saying that this can be a moment of teaching or whatever. And, like, I just read all these comments from, like, mostly white people, too. And I just think about, like, the guy who cut the braid is definitely going to be portrayed as the victim on all of this. And it's not just the kids or even the teachers. It's just, I guess, society at large. Because, like, there's always going to be, like, a horde of people who will, like, justify the terrible behavior under, like, some pretext of, they didn't know any better, or, the people who are being, like, marginalized are obviously in the wrong, or they're somehow accountable for this too. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. But you're still going to have people arguing that. And I feel like the amount of people arguing that sometimes, or most of the time, I guess, outnumber the people who are, like, trying to, I guess, educate or say otherwise. And it feels like a pointless effort, because for every one person you educate and actually gets it, like, there's still, like, so many other people who don't, or who will just hop in to play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm. Word. Like, those, I mean, honestly, those are the people that I really have the problem with. Like, obviously I have a problem with racist people, with misogynist people, with, you know, like, just whatever, you know, the person who's doing things and saying things. But I really have a problem with the person who excuses it, who finds a reason why this exists, that why the person who's been harmed needs to, you know, take a breath, take a step back, think about their point, you know, just, you know, bullshit. Like, you know, like when it's, you know, when the revolution comes, we're going to get you too. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Or like someone who does that whole both sides thing.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. And especially in terms of like human resources departments, I find in a lot of places I worked in, even on the campus, you see these human resources people, and then if you ever express a concern and they actually address the concern, it's usually like, just in my experience, it was usually just like a white woman working in human resources advising me essentially something to the effect of, well, you know, I know this was a bad experience, but try and turn a negative into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's just, it feels just kind of fruitless at some point, where like, at what point are you actually gonna actually just kind of step away or disengage and realize, like, what is the limit? Because, like, I don't know, it feels like a lot of people just kind of push the limits, or just assume that there are no limits under some pretext of them wanting to be educated, and it feels like a lot of marginalizations in these discussions, especially in the context of diversity training, where people just start to, like, incorporate torture porn. It feels like people kind of don't view it as training, or, like, actually think of it as a legitimate prospect of, like, improvement or self-crit or whatever. They just kind of view it as a playground.
Sure.
Trigger warning. Murder. I will talk about something else for a good 15 seconds to give you time. I think I've beaten God of War, but I'm not quite sure yet, because the ending that I got was so fucking horrible that I know that can't really be it. So I'm going back in. Yeah. I think that's 15 seconds. And Tasha Devine Sherrington English was murdered a couple days ago in Jacksonville, Florida. She died of a gunshot wound in a local hospital after being found in the early morning hours on Friday between two abandoned homes. She was known for nearly 10 years as a featured performer in the city, and was known and loved in the community, and as a multiple title holder in the trans pageantry circuit. She had also been living as her unapologetic trans self for over 20 years. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Department, however, misgendered her when they announced her death. According to a neighbor who didn't wish to be identified, someone driving by in a gray car and wearing a gray hoodie shot at her multiple times. And in addition to being the 12th person that we have lost to anti-trans violence, she is now the 6th African-American trans or gender non-conforming person we've lost in 2018. She was under the age of 18. Or she was under the age of 40, sorry. I don't even know. I had a friend who I had to just, I know everybody says, you know, you don't let go of friends. You shouldn't let go of friends or on Facebook over Facebook issues or whatever, that you should try and educate them, things of that nature. But I have a friend who every time that I would post something about trans issues, LGBTQIA issues, whatever it may be, this person was out on the forefront just talking, just nonsense constantly. And so I had to let them go, because they could be the nicest person in the world in 9 out of 10 things, but if that 10th thing is affecting somebody else, like I am under the belief that there are people who are like, oh, this person is such a nice person. Yeah, they might be a little bit racist, but they're nice people other than that. And I felt like I was falling into that sort of a trap. Like I might say that it's not the same thing. Somebody else might say it's not the same thing, but it really is. Like, people who are just outwardly dismissive of issues going on in the LGBTQIA community are problematic. And we can't keep covering for them, especially in the black community.
And in academia.
We cover for people so often, like, with no benefit. Like, what's the end goal for you to say, you know what, they have a point, or you know what, they can have their own opinion? No, their opinion isn't their opinion when their opinion is something like, a couple weeks back, this woman I know kept insisting that Wendy Williams is a man.
Gross.
And just when I kept counseling her about it, kept saying, no, that's not cool, that's not the thing to say. Why not? Why not? She looks like one. And I was like, that's disrespectful, first of all. Secondly, what you're saying is it's disgusting. It really is. It's just really disgusting. And it's not true. And even if it was, even if she was before, even if she transitioned, that's none of your business. Nah. She looks like, you know what, we're not going to have this conversation. I'm just going to ask you to stop saying that, please. And now with that person, I am like, I don't really know where to go, where to go forward with that. Like, do I distance myself? Do I just not mess with them anymore? I mean, I don't talk to them on social media or anything like that. It's an in-person conversation. Like, this is a person who shows up at events that I'm at. So, but you can't poo-poo away people's hateful thoughts as well. They have 9 other good qualities, so let's ignore this 10th one. That's not the way that this works, and that's a dangerous mindset to have. Fallon, you were saying about academia?
Oh yeah, I was just, that's all I added. Like, in terms of, there's a lot of academics who are, like, I'm not sure if you saw that, or you heard about the whole thing with Genoa Diaz. I think he's like a prominent academic, and he was recently it was kind of exposed that he was preying upon many undergraduate and graduate students and female colleagues who were writers as well. And he wrote, like, that open letter talking about, like, how it was kind of pretty masturbatory to me. Like, he just was talking about, like, how he was, like, guilty of doing all this stuff, and he was trying to, like, psychoanalyze himself and explain it all away and all of that. But, anyways, all of these academics wrote an open letter, just kind of co-signing and, like, saying that he was awesome, and how the media was dragging him because he was a man of color. And it was just rape apologist, like, and this was a letter signed by many prominent academics, and many of them were actually women of color whose texts are, like, kind of glorified in the feminist circuit, particularly the white feminist circuit, who like have that fascination of like consuming voices of color to kind of add to their, I guess, sashes of badges or whatever. But yeah, like a lot of academics of color can perpetuate harmful things, and like it's kind of just speaks to like the fact that the ivory tower does not make someone like immune or invincible to like perpetuating harm, because you can be whether you're in a classroom or not, like these people are in, again, positions of authority, and notably in education, where like they can perpetuate harmful ideas when they claim not to. Mm-hmm. And it's harmful like at any level. But and then I just think back to like when I was in school and all the stuff I saw and felt as well, but and as I get older and as I progress through academia and as I assist people and then eventually will become to teach my own courses at some point, I just think about like all of these issues in terms of like how I would be in an educational position and how I have the responsibility of like not kind of ruining it for people. And I also have the responsibility of making sure other people don't kind of ruin it for others. And it's kind of it's a difficult position to navigate, but at the same time, and even in the context of your colleagues. And when we were talking about that professor who was not fired for his quote-unquote racist rant, I was just thinking to myself, like, it's clear if he did get fired, then it's obvious he wasn't tenure, because when you're a tenure professor, it's kind of impossible to get fired. Like, your institution can ask you to leave, but you tenure is like the coveted position because you can't get fired unless you do something super bad, like murder somebody. But, so it's a reason why a lot of hateful professors can say all that stuff and just go wild and talk mad shit about people on social media. But if they're tenure, they can do all that and not get fired, regardless of like what they say. So the thing about tenure is that it ensures job security. There's different levels of being a professor. Like you can be a full or a tenure or part-time or whatever. But the thing about tenure and becoming a full professor is that your department has to essentially vote you in. So, like, let's say I'm applying to be tenure and I'm just an awesome professor. Like, it doesn't matter, like, how awesome I am or how valid my application is or what I've accomplished. If the department doesn't vote for me to be tenure, then I can't be tenure. And usually it goes where they'll tell you no, and then they'll tell you the stuff that you have to improve upon, and then you reapply in a year or two. And it can just be an endless cycle of them telling you no and giving you stuff to improve upon. But if you don't take their answer, you can go to the dean, and the dean can overturn their decision. But there's still hostility in the department, and the dean can still side with them. But my point is that you have to, like, make nice with people who are problematic and to ensure job security. And it's something I just really am not comfortable with. And it's just making me question my whole positionality in academia, because there are horrible professors. And the thing about tenure is that if you can't get fired, they're like these old, well, not necessarily old, but like professors who are white, who are like from older generations, who say terrible stuff and perpetuate all this harm, and they still occupy these positions of education and authority. And it's not just to the students, it's upon who they're letting in to kind of take their seats after they retire. So it's like a double bind, because you're in there and like you have to get the votes from people in order to like have job security and have like the certainty to kind of, I guess, speak truth to power without like having the carpet pulled under you. But yeah, it's like politics almost, and I'm just rambling at this point, but it's just something to think about in terms of, like, when you're at a job and, like, your job security and, like, in terms of your whole life, in terms of academia, where, like, if your department doesn't vote for you to be tenure, or if your department, like, votes for you to leave and get fired, and it gets put on your permanent record that you were asked to leave an institution, how that affects your, like, career down the line. And then, because, like, you can be asked to leave for a normal, or for a radical reason, like, on the side of justice. Like, you're not going to tolerate bullshit from, like, colleagues or students, and a lot of people just report you and then ask you to leave. When you reapply or apply to another institution, the institution might think you're edgy and hire you for, like, a semester or two, but they're not going to give you, like, a permanent contract, because they'll think you'll, like, disincline people from enrolling, because the bottom line is green, and they don't want to ruffle the feathers of these, like, old money trust fund students who are, like, enrolling and think all this stuff is quote-unquote liberal and bad. But, yeah, that's just my take on it. In terms of academia, it's like a storm of terrible circumstances.
Matt.
Yes, sir.
Shout outs.
Shout outs. I'll give a shout out to Josh Burton, my co-host on my podcast, The Meet Cute. We're doing some retooling at the moment, so we haven't had any episodes in a couple months, but we're aiming to come back and have some fresh episodes for everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you guys were okay.
No, yeah, we're good. I was actually just up there last week or 2 weeks ago, hanging out with them.
Okay. Hope he gets well soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. Fallon, shout outs?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask earlier in the show when you were talking about stories, if you were gonna do a shout out to the Storytellers podcast.
As soon as we do it, yes. We've had some illnesses happen recently, which is slowing down the latest episode from coming out. But we're still alive, people. This is the triumph. I'm making a note here. Huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction with this show. But yeah, no, this is your shout outs, not mine. Shout outs?
I guess shout out to you guys for always delivering great commentary, and also shout out to the wine cellar for delivering great commentary likewise. And I really hope that you and Ricky and perhaps William will all get together again to do, like, a dragging session of some misogynoir, or if you want to incorporate that into the dream team at some point, because, like, every time your episode with Ricky on Americans United Again, the whole social justice bullies thing comes on my list, I am always laughing out loud because it is hilarious, and I wish I could hear more of that stuff, because it's so much funny because it's true, and yeah, that always makes me smile.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. And, yeah, I actually will have to talk with Rick about that, because just saw a couple people that reminded me that I hate people. So, yeah, we're going to have that talk. Oh, yeah, no, almost forgot. Let me close this door real quick. So, first of all, Supreme Court did not rule that the guy in Colorado didn't have to make cakes for gay people. Didn't rule that. What they ruled was that the committee that oversaw the case may have had a bias against him, so they were going to bring it to another court to make sure that he got a fair and balanced trial. However, with that said, the dude is out of pocket for saying that he didn't want to serve gay people, that he didn't want to make a cake for a gay couple. Few questions. One, and I always wonder this. One, do you ask? Do they come in and say, hey, we're gay and we want to get a cake? Is that how it works? Am I missing something? Like, do they say we want to get a big gay cake that says we're gay 2018?
Just put a bunch of dildos on top of it. It'll be great.
Right? Can you just have like a semen frosting coming off the side out of a dick? Can you just have that? Because we're like, how does that work? Like, are you asking them? Because you're not allowed to ask people about their sexual orientation. I know that they came in for a wedding. No, that might have been a pizza place where they came in to get pizzas for a reception for their wedding and mentioned that they were getting married. But if they never mention that they're getting married or that they're gay, how do you know? That's the first thing. Second thing, why do you hate money? I didn't say why do you hate gay people. I didn't say why you hate anybody. Why do you hate money? Literally, you're turning away money. And there's a lot of folks that were on the internet, and I'm pulling up my chair a little bit real quick. There were a lot of people on the internet recently who were like, it should be their choice. Yeah, right. Okay, look, here's what's going to happen the first time I go home and tell my wife, you know what? Some people, I think they were gay because they were listening to Justin Bieber. Some people came into the store and wanted to get a $500 cake because fucking cakes are expensive. In a cake shop, I don't know if y'all know this, but cakes, they're not cheap. Cakes be running like $90. And for a wedding cake, I don't even know. Can anyone take a guess? Okay, Google that? Like, you know what? Fuck it. First of all. Siri, what's my name?
You're Derek. But since we are friends, I get to call you Megatron Destroyer of Galaxies.
You got it right.
Wow.
Siri, how much does it cost for a wedding cake?
Okay, I found this on the web. For how much does it cost for a wedding cake?
The average wedding cake in the United States is $500, which with most couples spending between $300 to $689. If I told my wife, hey baby, I passed up on almost $700 because they were gay.
Yeah, and it was a gay wedding, so you know they're going to splurge on the cake too. So that lady missed out on a bunch of money, I'm sure.
She would kick my ass. I don't understand the idea of giving up money to prove a point. I don't get it. I will gladly take any money that comes across the table. www.patreon.com/single simulcast. I will not turn down any money coming from anybody, no matter how I feel about them, because I will spend a racist person's money and say it's reparations. PayPal.me/single simulcast. I will do that because I feel like money is money, and it's coming to me, which makes it good money.
And now this person was signing was for religious beliefs, right? Like
pay
they
your
wouldn't make the
tithes,
cake.
motherfucker. Take the gay money and pay your tithes. Am I missing something?
I don't know where in the Bible it says you can't make cakes for anybody.
Right. I mean, you're missing that they, obviously you don't care where the money comes from. There are people who do care where the money comes from. It's like, obviously it's a movie reference, but you get those people who, the person has, this person has made some type of come up in a way that the parent or whoever it is doesn't agree with. So they give that person money because they're trying to help, and the person who doesn't agree with it throws the money back in that person's face, kind of thing, because they're not worthy of, their acceptance or whatever. So, this is fucked up. It's just that this is the other side of, I guess, not caring where the money comes from. There are people who do care where the money comes from. It's just that this is a stupid ass reason
Well, here's the thing. I saw a video. It was an ad actually on YouTube. I don't know if this is the same person or not. It was an older lady, and she was saying the exact same things that you were saying about how a gay couple came in. And again, I don't know if it's the same story or not, but somebody had taken an ad out for her so that she can tell her story. And basically, she said that she was familiar with this couple. They had been buying cakes and stuff from her for years, but she just wouldn't do it for their wedding because it was against her religion somehow. But all the other times that they would buy cakes from her, it was fine.
Yeah, it's still. I mean, it's just like people who they use their religious beliefs to keep people from having access to birth control. You know, like they're not getting the birth control, but it's against my religion to pay for the insurance or to, you know, allow you to have access to this thing.
Yeah, well, a lot of people use their religion to actually as a front for their bigotry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. You say it with your chest, bigot. Stop using God. God don't like ugly.
And you know what? As was pointed out to me before, God ain't really never said nothing about homosexuals in the Bible. Jesus ain't either. He did say something about y'all niggas eating pork, though. Just gonna point that out real fast. But all of these
that's a loose translation.
You're eating pork right now, aren't you?
Maybe. Well, they didn't have bacon back then, so I can't. I take that with a grain of salt.
The candy of meats. Bacon, the candy of meats. It's delicious.
Served up by the sugar man.
Put brown sugar on the bacon.
Oh, I've had that, and I'm having it again on Father's Day. I'm going to make myself a burger with brown sugar bacon and cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar cheese. Pickled onions. 2 pickles. Some kind of bun. I don't give a fuck. But all these folks who were like, yeah, they can choose to not serve whoever they don't want to serve. You know, it's their right. Whatever. Whoop-de-bam. Ha! See what I did there? And I was sitting there like, no, that's not how this works. It's actually a slippery slope. No, it's not. They don't have anything against anybody. They just don't like gay people. Wait, what? So, all right, you people who are like, they don't have anything against anybody. They just don't like gay people. It's not a slippery slope. A South Dakota lawmaker on Monday said the businesses should also be able to turn away customers based on race.
Jesus.
See that slippery slope right there? See how we're sliding? Right? Fuck y'all. In a Facebook comment, State Representative Michael Clark, a Hartford Republican, said the business owners should have the final say in who they serve. Later on, he deleted the comment. And an hour after the Argus leader posted a story about the comment, he issued an email apology to a reporter. Of course, the comment elicited outrage from constituents and caused to withdraw the lawmaker. But his initial comment came in response to a U.S. Supreme Court's no decision on Monday, siding with the Colorado baker who refused to make a cake for a same-sex couple's wedding. Quote, he should have the opportunity to run his business the way he wants, Clark wrote. If he wants to turn away people of color, then that's his choice. Wait, what?
I'm just gonna point out there that and I'm not actually a part of it, but I'm just noting that like the Satanist church or religion actually welcomes. Yeah, they actually
they don't judge anybody.
Yeah, they welcome anyone, and they say that anyone can join, and like for a fee of like I think $20, that they'll actually send you like an actual card that like confirms your membership to the Satanist church. Yeah, so I mean, all these people are setting like Christianity and stuff, and like I just wonder if like someone could go into an establishment where they say that they're like not serving them based on their religion, and then they're just like they take out like their Satanist card and they're just like, well, actually, I'm a Satanist, so like we accept everyone, so And we actually don't care about your religion, so, like, I'm just gonna, you know, patronize this establishment regardless.
Once I get to the point where I can have, and I've been offered a few times. I'm not saying I'm rich. I'm just saying that I'm okay with myself. I've been offered the opportunity to get the American Express Black Card a couple times now. And I don't want to do it because I have an annual fee of like $500 or something exorbitant like that that's just freaking stupid. But once I get a Black Card, once I finally do it, I'm going to go to all of these places that don't accept people based on their race or their sexual preference or whatever. And whatever they're against, that's what the fuck I'm going to be that day. With a Black Card. So I'm going to be in your place, and you're going to be like, I don't serve gay people, and I'm going to be like, I have a Black Card. How much will it take? Put your money where your mouth is. I don't believe these people. I don't believe that they're saying, I believe these people as far as thinking that they think that they're going to get that good GoFundMe money. That'll, like, take their business to higher heights. But I don't believe them, and I don't believe them. I can't believe people actually still believe this in this day and age, that they shouldn't have to serve somebody because of something that has nothing to do with what their job actually entails. I can't think of any situation or any circumstance where it would be okay for you to say you're not going to serve somebody based on their sexual preference. I can't. I mean, I could see you saying that you're not going to serve somebody a drink if they got like a herpes bump on their lip and you ain't got no more straws. I could see that. I understand the fuck out of that. Tell them to go home. Like, I'm not going to serve the shit out of you because you got that big ass herpes bubble on your lip and I don't have any straws because we don't have plastic straws in here anymore. Therefore, ipso facto, I just like saying ipso facto. Ipso facto, I cannot give you a Shirley Temple. However, I would still give it to them in a paper cup and just tell them to get their bubble lip ass out. Old herpy face. Oh, they should have never let me find out that was called herpes simplex. There's nothing simple about that. But by and large, there's no reason to deny anybody anything. And those old signs that say that we have the right to refuse service, I don't like those either. Because even now you see them saying that they're denying service to people who have sagging pants. Or don't wear a belt. Stuff like that has nothing to do with their business. Your business is not my business, so mind your business. You know what I'm saying? But yep, he's deadly serious. Somebody said, so he was saying that he made the statement that he agreed with the store owner. And then somebody else said, so based on your statement, if he decided he didn't want to do a wedding cake because a couple is black, you would support that as well. And he came back and said, it is his business. He should have the opportunity to run his business the way he wants. If he wants to turn away people of color, then that's his choice. I don't know. Like, Shantae, what do you, like, is there any way that this is, like, I mean, if you say I agree with what they're saying, we'll debate.
Can I interject for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm all for these people outing themselves as bigots and racists. You know, I'm all for it. Makes it a little bit easier to not have to give them my money. That's where I'm coming from with that. I think it's fucking stupid. That's not a way to run a business at all. And if they want to fail, if they want to run their business into the ground, then let them.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's so dumb. Just doesn't make it. Well, it makes sense because they're bigots. I mean, you know, bigots do bigot shit.
I understand. On the way to riches and diamond rings, real bigots do real things. But he took down the post. He took down the post, children. That's important. He took down the post so that he could rewrite it.
That's because that's because they're also scary. I mean, because that's really, I mean, it's, you know, if you really want to be, because the whole thing is they want to hold that idea in their head, but then still get money, you know, still fuck with people who might disagree with it. And so maybe that's why I agree with Matt, that they should be outed. They should, you know, put your little funky sign that says we don't like this, and then, you know, deal with the consequences of what that means for somebody, you know, to have to decide not to come to your place, you know, or to only have certain type of people come to your place. It might be people that you don't even like that's coming, you know, patronizing your establishment now. So, yeah, I don't know. I know one thing, though. I'm not putting any of my money in any of them motherfuckers' hands. But, you know, you do what you got to do with your black card, Rashani.
I would gladly take their money. No, like I would get them to the point where they're like, I will accept that, and then I'll be like, see, you're a fucking hypocrite, and then I walk out. I wouldn't give them the money. I just want to see what they take.
Okay. So you hitting them with like the Pretty Woman. You know, you missed out on a big commission, that kind of thing. I can dig that. Okay.
I've never seen that movie all the way through.
Well, you got to fast forward. You got to fast forward to the part where Richard Gere gives her some money to go shop, but she's still dressed in. Was she still in her outfit? That she was like, she's still in her outfit. She goes up there. Somebody treats her. You know, somebody mistreats her. She ends up going to a different place because the concierge or whatever was real nice. She gets her clothes, you know, now she's all dressed up and everything. And the lady who dissed her earlier when she was still in her regular clothes is now all up in her face. And then she lets her know, like, oh, look how much you missed out on. She's got like all kinds of bags and shit. So the lady knows that she missed out on possible commissions and everything. And so, yeah, that's what that is. That's what that is. That's what that's making me think of.
So that's where Mike Jones got that from?
I guess so. I don't know what that part is.
Back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot you all up on me.
I don't know. He could have made that up on his own.
Pretty Woman. Huh. Okay.
I mean, I've done that as well, like, because, because I do that still. Like, I've gone to places or departments in university and, like, they turned down my applications and stuff and said that I was, like, in over my head or inexperienced, and, like, it was underlain with, like, misogyny or like anti-blackness as well. And now I'm like I didn't give up, and I just went to another campus, and I went to different campuses, and I ended up getting into several different conferences and getting grants and everything. And like I'm at these other universities, like as a guest for other like functions and at community centers, and like I run into the same people who like literally gave me all this shit and like tried to close doors, and they're all like, well, why don't you come and speak for our center now? And I'm just like, no. And yeah, that's, I mean, I assume I'm going to enjoy doing that if I climb any higher, but that's always the upside, I guess.
Shantae, shout-outs?
Obviously, shout-out to Fallon and Matt for being on the show with us tonight. Shout-out to everybody that listens to the show and shares the show and leaves a review. That means you should leave a review somewhere. Leave a review. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you enjoyed. Let us know what you didn't enjoy. You know, whatever that is. Feedback. We appreciate it. We need it. We like it. Holler at us. There you go.
Rest in peace to Kate Spade. Somewhere out there right now, there's somebody that y'all think is the strongest person you ever met. Your strong friend, the one that you can talk to whenever you're feeling down or having problems or anything like that, and they're not strong. They're losing ground every day. Check in on them. Check in on your friends. There's no fault in checking in on your friends. Also, while it's on my mind, there's no fault in apologizing. We are all rebuilt trash. Men, some ladies, probably a lot of ladies. I mean, all of us grew up, had to, if we wanted to make it in this day and age. There's no fault in facing your past self and apologizing for mistakes that were made. Now, with that said, they don't have to forgive you. They don't have to accept it. But you're sometimes apologizing just so then you know that you're clearing yourself. So please, don't be afraid to apologize. Don't be afraid to take blame for what you've done in the past and own it and improve from it. And remember, if you need us, inbox us, DM us, email us. Our information's all over the place. It's in the show notes. Thank you, Fallon. Thank you, Young Shipway.
Thanks for having us.
Next time, Mo jokes, Mr. Shipway. Y'all be good. This Single Simulcast, episode 301, and we are out. Peace.
This is Single Simulcast.
Don't know by now that you slip.